Straya, how are you going? Well, the question is really, how are you going? You bloody well better be good. It's Monday after all. I'll tell you what, I assume most of you were also doing a Sunday night footy show, staying up to the wee hours to edit because producer Gerald wasn't there. That's right, I'm throwing him under the bus. He's back today. Boom! Straight under the bus. Off he goes. This is NBA Straya. It's Monday, June 3rd. As I mentioned, I am your host, James Clements. You can also see my ugly mug on, the AFL Today show, Fox Sports Lab NBA, the official Supercoach podcast. Got him, yes, nailed it. Here in the fancy studios. Just a really quick one today because I'm just going to set up some of the best storylines for these NBA finals. That's right, we've got Dallas, we've got Boston, obviously. But the thing was, we sort of did Friday's show, Dallas, Boston set up, and then it's like, all right. So I don't have a game until next Friday. So we better think about the thing. So we're thinking about the thing today. There's a couple of bits of news and whatever here and there. But mostly this is just going to be setting up some of the ideal storylines of Boston, Dallas, talking matchups, revenge, all that sort of gear. And of course, the Aussies. So that'll be fun. Trust me. So it should be just a fun, quick Monday one for you. So we'll do some nahs and gear later in the week, basically setting up that entire game one and the series more so. We'll do, best bets and gear on Wednesday as well as it sort of gets closer to it. We'll have a quick bit of a sneak preview, though, of the best bets right at the end of this one. So, I think we should just bloody well get into it. What do you say? Yes, you should, Jim. Thanks, everybody. This is episode 1109 of NBA Straya. Let's go!
The worst of days! The worst of days!
This is Joe Ingles, and you're listening to NBA Straya.
Watch out for the Shaq Attack.
You better. Or, you better watch out for the sad, weird attack because everyone's like, geez, inside the NBA. It's all done after the Western Conference Finals. They are doing next year's games, aren't they? That broadcast deal doesn't start till the year after. It's all being very weird. Anyway, Draymond, got to watch out for his attack. He was doing the soccer. Is this just a little bit of the on the nose? Hey, yeah, Draymond's not, he might just retire. He's just I'm fucking out. I'm just laying some patchwork down so I can go and do some commentary. And everyone's like, we don't want you, Draymond. He's like, no, you're going to have me. And I'm like, I'm sick of this guy already. He's just angry and shit. I'm angry and shit as well, but I'm not a millionaire yet. Anyway, without any other sort of vibes out there at the moment, it was a really, really quiet NBA weekend. Obviously, as soon as Dallas and Boston was set up, you're like, this is good. We have the teams. Now we can talk about it for the next fucking week because apparently the NBA's like, no. Oh, sorry, we'll cut to Adam Silver. Yes, we can't move any of the dates you see, Jim. Why is that, Adam? I don't really know. Seriously, he's like, yeah, the dates are the dates are the dates. It's like, bloke, it fucking finished a week ago and you're going to start... The Boston Celtics are going to forget how to fucking play basketball at this point. It's like, what do we do with this round thing? Jason Tatum's like, I'm just a full-time fucking dad now. What are we doing here? Al Horford's like, I just need another nap because he's very old, you see. But outside of this, Adam's like, we've got to lock in the dates and people have got to travel and book in shit. It's like, no neutral fan. It's not the fucking Super Bowl. You're playing a basketball game. There's 20,000 people in those arenas, right? The Super Bowl is 80, 90. That's a lot of people. And you have a lot of neutrals, all that sort of shit. Where you can just go, hey, you know how we're going to have this game in Boston? Because we always knew game one was going to be in Boston. They were the number one fucking seed. They won a week and a half ago, basically, at this point. Just go, yeah, it was going to be in Boston, which is fucking 2 days prior. But we already booked our tickets. What? You've got season ticket holders there in Boston who were going to go. You'd have a smattering of other folks going. And then Dallas only found out the other day that they're even in the fucking thing. So they're just well, there's a couple of hardcore lunatics here. Just fucking move it up. I feel lost. Can you tell? I don't know, basketball to what? Today I'm just what do I do? Work? Like, this is bullshit. What the fuck, man? Sit in meetings like a nerd? This is fucked. Anyway, so not happy with that, can you tell? Anyway, move it forward, Adam. I don't want to, Jim. We need to get all the way to the draft, which is what I can sort of see, right? So the way that they space it out is like the finals start here. We run all the way basically through June. It's an entire month for one fucking series. Love that. And then they get to the end of, they have the draft and free agency. Cool. It's your springboard. It's like, oh, we can't ever let one fucking day go by without us being part of it. It's like, yeah. And then the NFL comes over when the NFL's happening and kicks you in the balls like the fucking schoolyard bully. It's embarrassing. But either way, let me fix it, Adam. I'll do it. Right. Let's start with some news. It's the daily, it's a whip around. Sacramento. Now, you might remember the other day where I was like, hey, remember how the negotiations were going with Mike Brown? He's like, hey, I went $10 million a year. They're like, no, here's 7.5. And he's like, fuck you. And they're like, well, okay, how about we just meet you in the middle? And he's like, no, fuck you. And they're like, all right, here's $10 million a year. But they did eventually meet in the middle because it's $8.5 million worth of base salary for his 3-year, $30 million extension. That's cool. I also like that it's like, oh, it's a 3-year, $30 million contract. Well, it's not really if it involves bonuses. Like the 8.5 is your starting fucking point. Those bonuses, for all we know, could be the Sacramento Kings win the NBA Finals. In which case, yes, he's probably earned his $1.5 million bonus that year, you know. It should obviously be playoff bonus related, etc., whatever. But still, happy days. Mike Brown, look, it's basically the Kings negotiating how much they're going to have to pay out Mike Brown if they miss the playoffs this year, right? So it sort of feels right. It's like, okay, we'll extend you, but at the same time, that last year's not guaranteed, and god damn, it's going to cost a lot of money when we kick your ass to the curb. But anyway. And also the last little bit of news is that Troy Weaver, the smart man there in Detroit basketball Pistons world, is out. So you might remember him. He used to be, in OKC, stuff like that. And he's like, oh, I'll just take the OKC model and do it in Detroit. See, the key aspect there is, though, actually drafting good players, which he has not exactly done. Oh, but we got James Wiseman. He was the number 2 pick. Yeah, he's also shit. Cade Cunningham, he just never plays. Jaden Ivey has like these moments. Monty Williams is like, who the fuck are you? And he's like, I'm Jaden Ivey. I was last year's lottery pick. And he's like, fucking get out of here. And Jaden Ivey's like, what the shit? Like, how many months went by until Monty Williams went, wait, who are you again? And he's like, I'm Jaden Ivey. Remember the lottery pick from last year? He's like, oh, are you any good? And he's like, yes. He's like, oh, fucking get out there then, you idiot. You're like, what is going on in Detroit? This is fucked in their head. Anyway, so Troy Weaver's out. Can't tell why. It was also pretty cool that they go, one of the Thompson twins, that's fine. It's also just like they just keep getting kicked in the dick with lottery odds, right? They get the number 1 pick for Cade Cunningham and then a couple of years running best odds to get the number 1 pick. Hang on a second, kick in the dick, bang, you're number 5. The Pistons love the number 5 pick in the draft like I like tins, which is a lot. Yeah, in a surprise twist, Gerald, I like beer. Anyway, there you go. See you later, Troy Weaver. Interesting to see, because they also just hired Trajan Langdon, right, to sort of be the overseer of all basketball ops stuff there in Detroit. So we'll see if that turns the ship around. It's like the ship of beers. That's an old Frenzal Rom song, isn't it? Yeah. Got to try to get that big fucking freighter of a shitstorm that is the Detroit basketball Pistons pointing in the right direction, because they stink. Like a lot. And there's not a giant amount of really good shit on the horizon. It's like, oh, we've got Cade, we've got Jaden Ivey. It's like, can they play together? We don't know because Monty Williams is a fucking idiot. You're like, all right, cool. We've got one of the Thompsons. We've got some big dudes. You're like, yeah, Jalen Duren's rad. For a dude who sounds like an Asian fruit, that's a durian, isn't it, Gerald? Yeah. Close. Whatever. Have you seen that video? I love a good fucking viral video. It's like, hey, it's hard harvesting durians. It's like, no shit. The giant fucking spiky thing that will go through your head. Yeah, that fucking thing. Anyway, hey, let's do a finals preview. Finals. That's right. It is the NBA Finals. Let's just play a bit of a song, shall we? I think we've got a bit of a, let's do the old, down. There you go. Finals. Because the Dallas Mavericks are in the NBA Finals again. First time since they won it all in 2011. Kind of cute. The Boston Celtics are chasing their 18th flag. I like saying flags and mixing up my AFL and my NBAs. Their 18th title. They made the finals in 2022 when they were soundly dispatched, shit pumped by the Golden State Warriors. So it's an interesting setup because I've talked about this before, right? The Boston Celtics, they've made Eastern Conference Finals after Eastern Conference Finals. What is it? 6 of the last 8. And you still kind of struggle to think of them as this really dominant fuck you team because they haven't won the entire thing yet. And it's like, as I've said before, right? It's really, I think of the NBA in eras, and we're kind of in the parity era where if you're a fucking contender, you just sort of want to be there, and you might just have that one year where you're like, fuck yes, we did it. Milwaukee, healthy, win it in 2021. Lakers, steal one random title in the fucking bubble. Oh, that's right, I tweeted about that today. I just randomly was like, hey, remember when LeBron was like, being in the bubble is like being in prison? Yes, LeBron, being in the bubble's exactly like being in prison. A 7-star fucking $1 million, squillion-dollar hotel bringing food to you at your whim with pools, bright sunshine, and you get to go play basketball with your friends is just like prison, you fucking idiot. Anyway, love that. But what else? Like Golden State randomly popping up out of nowhere in 2022 to win the title. Then 2023, Denver, they can't go back-to-back this year because Minnesota seemingly built exactly to beat them. And then Minnesota went, wait, how do we beat Dallas? Fuck, and get killed. So it is awesome, right? So you got this era of like, be contenders and you might just get lucky. And Boston have been a contender for fucking 8 years basically, right? Since essentially Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown started getting half decent, they did the Kyrie and Gordon Hayward trades, and here we are. And they yet to win. So you have these moments of like, it's really hard to think of this era as being wildly successful, despite it being wildly fucking successful by any metric outside of have they won the fucking thing? No, they haven't. This is their best chance. Why is that, Jim, you might ask? I'll tell you why. They've played fucking nobody. All their fucking opponents so far have been injured, so they've had an absolute fucking cakewalk to the finals now. What happened in the Miami series? Did they have Jimmy Butler? No. So, they were without their best player, were they? Gee, what happened in the Cleveland series? Cleveland, were they without their best player? Yes, because Donnie Mitchell missed a bunch of that too. Oh my God, in a surprise twist, what happened in the Eastern Conference Finals? Was Tyrese Halliburton fucking healthy the entire time? Of course he wasn't. Oh my God. And Boston are like, geez, this is a really hard run to the finals. No, it's not, you fucking sooks. Shut up, nerds. Anyway, so they've beaten nobody to get here. Now they have to play an actually hardened, awesome team that has 2 of the best scorers in the NBA. What's going to happen, Jim? What's going to happen? I'll tell you. It's going to be fucking good. That's what it's going to be. I can't wait for this NBA Finals. I don't know if I've been this excited about a matchup purely based on the matchup for a while, right? If you think about the Lakers Heat one in the bubble, that was a pretty cool matchup. You got Bam and Jimmy against LeBron and AD, but it was in the bubble, so it was fucking weird. Then you had Milwaukee and Phoenix. Milwaukee go, we're going to, the Suns are like, we're going to fucking win this. And Milwaukee like, ha, no, you're not, dickheads. Whapa, you got Chris Paul, remember him? He never wins, so sucked in, dickheads. That was a kind of fun one because you had 2 old-timey sort of franchises in Phoenix and Milwaukee going hammer and tongs. You had Giannis winning his first title. Love that. Then you think about the Warriors, Celtics. They just weren't quite good enough, that Celtics team. Last year, you had Denver, Miami again, and Denver. That was just fun, and they just fucking ran rings around that Heat team. So this year, however, is set up awesomely because you have a Boston team who, as I said, hasn't fucking beaten anybody, but are really, really fucking good. They've done this. Jim, they haven't beaten anybody, but also they didn't have their 3rd best player. Yes, I know the extreme Zingermill was not playing. Oh, he averages 23 points a game. Yeah, he's also a weird fucking 7'20" Latvian fucking gangbanging fucking weirdo who doesn't get any rebounds. Great. Sure you missed that. But what it does set up is a fascinating matchup. So let's do the 5 best storylines of the 2024 NBA Finals. Number 1, revenge! That's right, number 1 is revenge. Kyrie Irving goes back to Boston. Who's getting revenge here? Boston. Because he's like, I can't fucking wait to stay if you'll have me. And then literally like a month or 2 later, he's like, actually, fuck you guys, I'm out. And more power to him. Because Kyrie, absolute lunatic, right? We all get that. The flip of public persona of Kyrie Irving whilst in Dallas has been remarkable. Hey, I'm a really good teammate. Everybody fucking loves me. I'm not posting anything anti-Semitic anymore. And you're like, oh, good. Geez, he's such a nice guy. It's like, he still did all that shit. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, man, remember how, like, I was a prick to everybody in Boston? Everybody in Boston does. Like Mike Gorman, who just retired after doing 40 billion years as the fucking Celtics play-by-play announcer, was like, yeah, he was a bit of a dick. And I'm like, Mike Gorman's the nicest dude in the world. If he's out there going, that guy fucking sucked, then there's probably, if there's smoke, there's fire, right? And if Mike Gorman's smoking it, then it's fucking fiery. So Kyrie being a massive dick, forcing his way out of Boston, going, fucking peace, losers, is awesome. Because he's like, fuck all those guys, but they're still my guys. They fucking love me. And they're like, we still love Kyrie. And so, oh, it's all the media beat up. It's like, nah, you said you wanted to stick around. The going got weird and you went fucking peace and went and hung out with KD in Brooklyn, you coward. Then shit got even weirder. It's like, this is post the flat earth stuff as well. Anyway, so Kyrie's entire fucking thing, he goes back to Boston. This is an amazing, amazing storyline for the simple fact that they had some success while he was there. He then got injured and they were still pretty good and they went, hang on, we're onto something here. Fuck this guy. Oh no, are you going? Oh, please, Kyrie, don't. Oh no. Is he gone? All right, hey, fucking party. And the other one is the Extreme Zinger Meal. Extreme Zinger Meal. Will he be a supercharged Zinger Burger? This is fascinating because remember how he used to be on Dallas? No? Nor do many people because the Extreme Zinger Meal. He was also on Washington, which is also still weird when you think about it. You see those photos of him in those Wizards jerseys and you're like, oh yeah, that's who he got traded from to the Celtics after he got traded to what? Fucking Dallas to be like Luka's running mate. And I don't know if Mark Cuban was like, look, fucking all of Europe's the same, mate. Like, that would be best mates. And he's like Latvian. And the other bloke, Slovene, is like, I fucking hate you more, fucking. And they're just like yelling at each other the entire time going, but Cuban's like, they're fucking white guys. They'll be best mates. Wrong. Zinger's just like, I was the biggest dick in New York for like a real hot minute right there, right? On the Knickerbockers. Rolls into Dallas. Luke is like fucking 21. Is like, I'm already the biggest dick here. Fuck you, you Latvian nerd. Go get some weird accusations towards you somewhere else, pal. And Zinger's just like, I don't like this at all. Fuck this, I'm out. And so off he goes. He gets traded to Washington and then off to Boston. And the Zinger, I mean, it's weird when, because one of the squids, right, the 5-year-old, the oldest squid, the 5-year-old, he's got one of those basketball ABC books in a surprise twist. I like basketball and I force it on my children. But the ABCs, if you know your ABCs, they finish with Z. And then after that, you kind of usually like, oh, it's usually a recap of the entire fucking thing. Sometimes they'll just have like an extra page and like, won't you come and fucking sing with me or whatever. And this one has like, who's got next? And it's like Giannis, Anthony Davis, and Porzingis. And you're like, oh, this is like, what, the squids, as I said, 5? So this is probably around 2019, 2020 when he's got it. And like, yeah, the Zinger was like the fucking unicorn. And now he's like the third best player on a Celtics team. No one's entirely sure if they need him that much. But here we are. Like, it's pretty strange. And if you look at it, he played a total of, I think it was like 134 games with the Dallas Mavericks overall. So you're kind of like, revenge, really? It's like, not really. It was just kind of like, he was here, then whatever. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Either way, a bit of revenge. I love this. It's a great setup. It's a fun storyline. The Kyrie conversation is still just exhausting as well. It's like, he's a great dude. It's like, yeah, but you can be a great dude now. All the dumb shit stuff you did beforehand doesn't instantly get fucking wiped away, right? You still posted a bunch, like, no, I think Phil Hand was out there. He's like, hey man, don't speak on somebody you don't know. It's like, he posted a fucking promotional thing for an anti-Semitic fucking film. Oh, you don't know him though. It's like, I don't think I need to. Like, what are we doing? Oh, geez. He literally sat at a fucking press conference and was talking about the flat earth. Oh, you need to know somebody before you comment. And no, you don't. That's the entirety of the fucking world right now, you lunatic. Oh, you need to know somebody before you can talk about him. Nope. In a surprise twist, I completely refute that accusation. Anyway, but Kyrie not being a shitbird is fucking awesome. And I love it because from a purely basketball standpoint, he's a magician. All the other shitbirding, once you can put it out to the side and not have to give a fuck about it, he's awesome. I love that shit. Let's go. He's also had some weird, funky sort of moments during these playoffs, and I reckon that's where Boston are going to attack. But either way, Kyrie and Zinger, bit of revenge. Jason Kidd versus the Celtics, bit of revenge. His old New Jersey Nets teams in the early thousands going up against Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce and co. Bit of revenge. J Kidd, not a big fan of the Celtics. Joey Muzz, revenge against the world. Oh, I fucking love doing jiu-jitsu, man, because I want to fucking fight everybody, bro. But how about if you're my best mate, we'll watch the fucking town, bro. That is the best because I'm a really fucking good mate. But also better watch out. Jiu-jitsu! Fucking love Joey Muzz. I get an entire another series to do Joey Muzz voice. I'm stoked. So the real winner here is me. Number 2. How many of these you got, Jim? 5. It's all right. The matchup quandary, and this is probably my favorite one, right? So the biggest storyline going into these finals on Friday is the simple idea of these two teams match up fucking awesome and weird. And how does it all work out? I don't know, but I love it. So you think about your big dudes. You've got Dan Gafford and Derek Lively for the Mavs. On the other side, you might have a fully supercharged Zingerberger, as well as above average Al Horford. Old man Horford, he is kind of Puerto Rican, I think. Anyway, Horford, Zinger, Gafford, Lively. Cool. These are very different big men, though, compared to what the Mavs just played and what the Celtics just played, right? So if you think about who the Celtics just played, they just played Miles Turner and no one else. And you know what Miles Turner's not really big on? Rebounds. Being a big dude. He's like, I'm 7'20", and they're like, can you get a rebound? He's like, no, fuck you. I think I've told this before in NBA Straya, but yeah, I remember like doing media shit, and you like run into dudes, you're like, you're way shorter than I thought, Donovan Mitchell. And then you run into dudes, you're like, fuck, you're actually massive. Jason Tatum, Miles Turner. You're like, phew. I think Tatum's like listed at 6'8". You're like, you're not 6'8", you're 6'10" at least. And Donovan Mitchell's like my height. You're like, you're not big. How do you score 40 in the playoffs? That probably means I can score 40 in the playoffs. But then you look at Miles Turner and you're like, your arms are basically longer than a Diplodocus's neck. The squid's really into dinosaurs at the moment, Gerald. Can you tell? Either way, super long and fucking taller than shit. And you're like, why is it that all that you do is basically shoot threes? And then every so often you'll have a good game where you do like some dunks. Be better, Miles Turner. Anyway, so Horford had to deal with that, which is not much. It's like a bit of perimeter dealio. You can switch out with Tatum and shit on Turner and away you go. Gafford and Lively, we just saw them go hammer and tongs with Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, Gustavo Tower, which is basically like, hi, I'm big and tall and trying to get lots of rebounds and block your shit and protect the rim. And they're like, okay, we're up to the challenge. But for that, they played OKC. They didn't have as much of a defensive impact in that series. You feel like offensively, it was a lot of lobs and oops and shit, which is very fun. Defensively, they did a pretty good job of protecting the rim. They did win the series after all. But again, they didn't really have a massive, like, it's like a perimeter oriented center in Chet. And you're like, Chet, Zinger, kind of works. Cat, Zinger, kind of works. I feel like the Mavs are feeling pretty good about those matchups. The tricky ones are when you get to the wings. That's right. Tatum, Brown. PJ Hamilton, Washington. Derek Jones Jr. Derek Jones Jr. has been a really, really, very, 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 very fun, good defender. PJ, same sort of vibe. The thing is, who did they really have to guard last series against the Wolves? And you're like, oh, yeah, Jaden McDaniels. Oh, and a lot of Kyle Anderson. Jesus. Naz Reid at times. Oh, God. The other one is Ant-Man. And so if you put a bit, like you look at those two dudes and you're like, they're both bigger than Ant-Man. So that's probably going to work out. They're not bigger than Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So it's a little bit of an interesting combo. And then the flip side is Luka and Kyrie. How do you match them up? if you're the Celtics, you've got Derek White, you've got Jrue Holiday. You can obviously throw Jaylen Brown and go, hey, Jaylen Brown, sick Luka. And he's like, all right, no problems. Let's fucking go. I'm bigger than, oh, wait, I'm not bigger than him. Shit. Right? But put a bit of size maybe on Kyrie. Put Jaylen Brown on Kyrie. You're feeling a bit better. He's like, you're my best friend, Kyrie, but I'm going to ruin your shit. And Kyrie's like, you're going to try. You might succeed. Because that's kind of what they did in OKC, right? J-Dub, they kind of took Kyrie out of that a little bit. Either way, the matchups down the fucking line are really interesting because you've got Derek White, you've still got Jrue. Who goes to Luka? Who tries to slow down Luka? Do you just basically guard? There's like a lot of talk about Joey Musgrove. We're just fucking guarding space, man. We're just guarding fucking space. We'll let Luka score fucking 40, bro, but if we win the game, that's all that matters, bro. And you're like, that's not bad. I like that. Flip side, do Dallas just go, hey, if Jason Tatum just scores all their points, but nobody else does, that's probably good for us. Be interesting to see how they go. But these matchups, like we'll see it basically in game one, and I'll talk about it more later this week. But you go through those matchups just in the starting fucking five, or at least the top six, and it's fascinating and very, very, very fun and rife for cool shit. Because if you think about it as well, there's now two scorers on each side that both teams have to sort of really worry about. So Luka and Kyrie, obviously, Brown and Tatum. The Mavs just had to deal with Ant-Man and Cat. So that's basically 1.5 because Karl Anthony Towns is like, I'm a really big pussy. And you're like, we get it, Karl Anthony Towns. It's fine. SGA, J-Dub went absolutely MIA. Cool. Before that, it was Harden and Paul George. That's another 1.5 because James Harden, fat man, who Ballet Clan, plays like a half a game each time, right? He plays one good game, bad game. One game, good game, bad game. So 1.5 across the thing. And Paul George, same sort of vibe. Where the Celtics are probably going to have that weird sort of like, oh, iron sharpens iron. It's like you haven't had to fucking guard too many people. Like you couldn't stop Andrew fucking Nembhard. It's Boston. So just pump the brakes. You think, oh, we're going to stop Kyrie. Andrew Nembhard was dropping fucking 30 on your heads. That's a worry. Same time, well, they had Bam, no Jimmy Butler, Donnie Mitchell, gone. So it's really hard to sort of gauge how that Boston defense is going to roll against Luka and Kyrie, but I can't wait to find out. The matchup is set. It's awesome. It's fun as hell. And if you just want to look from a macro point of view, 7th in offense and 13th in defense. That was Dallas after the trade deadline. They were 11th and 19th before that. It's pretty bloody good. Of course, Boston were 1st and 2nd all season, so here we go. It should be fucking awesome. That sort of also leads into the top 6. So the top 6 for the Boston Celtics is probably better. When I say probably, is better than the Dallas Mavericks. Thing is, once you get to the rest of that Boston Celtics bench, you have a lot of Peyton Pritchard very fucking quickly. You're like, he's like fucking American Deli, but shit. He's like, I just want to do stuff and cause fucking havoc and shoot threes. And you're like, but can you play defense? He's like, I will fucking try, but I'm a little white guy. And you're like, oh, this is not going to go great. And Dallas, when they bring in the likes of Josh Greeny Green, they have the opportunity to bring in our man, Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway Jr., Jaden Hardy, professional scorer. You look at the rest of the bench for the Boston Celtics, you're like, Jesus, it gets very white very quickly. It's a lot of Peyton Pritchard. It's a lot of Sam Hauser. It's a lot of Luke Cornett, right? And again, I think O'Shea Brissett got out there for a little bit in that Indy series. You're like, maybe you throw him out there for a little bit just to, I don't know, keep up the speed on the court. But either way, look, the top 6 versus the role players. This is my third favorite storyline matchup. It's like the Boston bench probably still has question marks. Peyton Pritchard's shooting the piss out of it this year. He's looked really good. Other side is usually, and we've talked about this time and time again on NBA Straya, for Dallas, one of those role-playing shooters, Derek Jones Jr., PJ Hamilton Washington, Josh Greeny Green, Jaden Hardy, Tim Hardaway, one of them will have a good game. One of them will have a fucking atrocious bullshit. You're not playing anymore for this series game. And that's not as impactful in the playoffs because you can go, Tim Hardaway, you're not playing anymore. And he's like, but my dad was good. Derek Jones Jr. and stuff, it doesn't impact you so much in the playoffs when it's just like so keyed in. They just go fucking play defense. And they're like, okay. And PJ, if he can just turn into like stay Ray Allen like he was in round 2, that was amazing. Don't know if he can do that again in the finals, but it gives them a sort of an interesting advantage in the role players versus the fact that Boston's top 6 is fucking wildly good. Like the fact that Derek White, Jrue Holiday are almost afterthoughts is absurd. you got Al Horford moving to the bench, which actually does, if Zinger starts, it gives you a much better fucking feel for that Boston bench all of a sudden because not as much relies on it. So be interesting to see how that plays out. I love, love, love this storyline though, because you got Josh Green, you got Lively coming off the bench for Dallas, maybe Dante. That leads us very nicely into the Aussies, another big storyline. Obviously for me, what's this called, Jim? Oh, it's NBA Straya. That's right. Josh Greeny Green. He shot 33% from corner threes for these playoffs. I would like to see that tick up to his 40% that he was hitting in the regular season. That'd be really fucking handy. At the same time, I like that it's only at 33% because you know what that means, producer Gerald? Upside. Because he can get to 40 during the finals. He'll just hit a bunch of them. It'll be fine, won't it? But Greeny's defense will be really, really, really important on the likes of Jaylen Brown, Derek White and co. Especially when they sort of send those sort of half bench unit, half starter units out there for the Boston Celtics. Greeny be out there just having to cause havoc, bring some grit, heart, and determination. And this should be, I'll tell you what, if Jason Kidd doesn't go, hey, Dante Exum, get out there and cause a shit ton of havoc on both ends, then we should throw Jason Kidd in the Yarra River. Simple as that. Because Dante is, if you sort of sick him onto the likes of Derek White and just go, Dante, just make his life shit for 6 minutes per game. I fucking love that. Let's go, Dante. Hit a couple of threes, play some defense. Like, Dante's just gone from the fucking Euro League where he won a title. He's now over here. His dad passed away in the middle. If he can win an NBA title, this is an amazing, awesome, all-time great Australian NBA storyline. And I don't know, have you seen anything in the mainstream media about it? This is now mainstream media. NBA Straya. Fucking pay attention. Either way, I love this idea though. Dante Exum could be one of the great storylines of all time. Goes to Europe. His dad, beloved Cecil Exum, passes away. Makes it back into the NBA. Wins a fucking title? Question mark. Love it. And then finally, the fifth biggest, awesome, funnest, stupidest storyline. Jason Tatum versus Luka Dončić. Who's got the best player in this series? It's got to be Luka. Probably. Tatum could also be the best player in the series. Can he? Yes. Will he? Probably not. But this is his moment. This is Jason Tatum's moment. Everybody, including your mate Jim, has been shit-talking Jason Tatum for just wild chunks of his career. It's like, you thought you was Kobe? It's like, you're a half-decent fucking role-playing superstar, right, Jason Tatum? He's like, I dropped 50 in a closeout game. You're like, good on you, pal. You're still weird and no one likes you for some reason. He's really fucking good. He's been awesome these playoffs. This is his moment to go, hey, you know how you were just shit-talking me, Jim, and just saying the Celtics haven't beaten anybody? Fuck you. Here's fucking 38 points a game, a finals MVP, and I am a top 3 player in the NBA. Flip side, Luka could do the same. Luka's like, I heard you was talking shit fucking. What are you doing, Jim? Fucking waving hanky? Fucking, I fuck you up and all your friends fucking. You're like, all right, settle down there, Luka. Come to Ballarat, we'll have some words. But either way, Luka could also just go out and average 37, 12, and 10. And you're like, oh, he's the best player in the world. We just took the mantle from Nikola Jokic and stole it and then won a title. That would be fucking amazing. It would be chaos. The way Luka has gone about this postseason as well has been absolutely absurd. Like, he's copped everything. The best defense in the NBA this year, the Minnesota Timberwolves could not fucking slow him down. The way that he shredded them in Game 5 in the first quarter of Game 5, he's like, you think you're good? Fuck you. 20 points on your head. You scored 19. Fuck off. Like, that was awesome. The way he did it was absolutely fantastic, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out, hammer and tongs Game 1, and Dallas sort of maybe still even Game 1, or at least makes it really, 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 really close. But he's been pure killer. The cool thing is we're going to have this Tatum-Luka conversation for the rest of this week, for the rest of this series, and Tatum can rise to the occasion. It's going to be fun as fuck. I love this idea. So you got Luka and Tatum, then you got the second banana vibes, right? Jaylen Brown versus Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie has the chance to be like, as I sort of said, a couple of weeks ago, he's got the chance to sort of stamp himself as like the best second banana of the two, like basically since the turn of the century, right? Because Scottie Pippen, Magic / Kareem, in the 80s, whatever. McHale, whatever. But since the thousands, we've sort of talked about really good second bananas like 06 Shaq, 01 Kobe, Powell. Like just sort of dudes like that, D Wade. Kyrie could just be like, hey, I was the best second banana for LeBron. If they win the title here, he's like, I'm the best second banana for Luka as well. Just saying, pretty good second fucking banana. Hello. But either way, great setup. Love this. Luka versus Tatum. It's like, oh, who's the best player in the fucking NBA? Whoever wins this title, eh? And you're like, all right, Nikola Jokic is still the fucking best player in the NBA. But whoever wins this title, either Luka or Jason Tatum, has a very good case to be like, oh, I'm top 3. Prove me wrong. Luka's already top 3. Tatum, can he crack the top 3? He can with a really fucking crazy, awesome performance, and I cannot wait. But mostly, let's go to the Aussies. Josh Green, Dante Exum. Can't wait for that storyline to play out. So there's your 5, right? So you've got revenge. You got the matchup quandary where matchups up and down the line. Neither team has really played a team like this, and it's going to be fucking awesome fun to sort of see how it sort of all rolls out. That rolls into the top 6 versus the Dallas role players, whose bench actually steps up. Dallas actually has a little bit of a bench. Does Boston's bite them in the ass? What is it then? Tatum versus Luka. Who's top 3, top 1, whatever. And then obviously the Aussies. 5 really fucking good NBA Finals storylines. And before we go, because, I don't know, we've got another 1 or 2 shows to do this week before actually game 1 of the finals, and we'll do some videos as well. So keep an eye out across the socials for all that. Some of the best bets heading into the finals. I was saying on Friday's show, I like Boston 4-2 in this series. I'm still reserving my right till, I think, Wednesday's show to make the final call on this. But if you do like Boston to win at 4-2, you can always, like, that's at $5.40 or something like that, I think. You can also, did you know this, producer Gerald? You can actually bet on the exact way that 4-2 unrolls. So Boston win game 1, Dallas win game 2. Uh-oh, they've stolen home court. Oh, Boston win game 3 and Dallas sucked in. Dallas fight back, tie it up, 2-2. It's a 3-game series. Watch it, and then Boston win games 5 and 6. I think that's how I kind of still see it playing out because I've sort of talked myself into Dallas being super deep. Well, super deep. They're deeper than Boston, right? They've got just enough talent. But the thing is, Boston's overall top-end talent is better than Dallas's. With all due respect for PJ Hamilton, Washington, Derek Jones Jr., it's Luka and Kyrie who can blow your fucking doors off at any moment in time. But if you're playing half-decent defense, you know, you should be able to close it down. And then the biggest worry, though, for me, in any pick that you should be making about Boston is the simple idea of what did we see Boston do? Despite being fucking awesome all year, when it got to clutch situations, what did they do? They turtle-headed as much as they possibly could. They're like, oh, God, I'm shitting my pants. You know what happens when Dallas gets into close bits? They're like, we're fucking winning this game. Look at that Slovenian prick over here. He's grinning. He's like, this is great. We're within 5. We're going to fucking win. And you're like, he's not wrong. So that's the weird thing. So I think Boston 4-2 is my initial vibe. Finals MVP, keep an eye on Derek White because there's like a weird dude every fucking finals series that just sort of goes off and like turns a game or two. Derek White could very easily be that for the Boston Celtics. He's at 41. 31 actually now. Most points, most rebounds, most assists. Luka is the obvious one for each of these. Tatum might be the one for points. Just in case that Boston defense really fucking keys in on Luka and just keeps him around that 30-point mark, whereas Tatum, you feel like could be really, really sort of fucking settled. And Dallas's entire point could be like, look, Tatum can do all the fucking damage he wants as long as Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Zinger aren't shooting open threes, who gives a fuck? So don't mind Luka and maybe total rebounds. Well, total assists, he's like a horrifying favorite. Tatum, sneaky, really good rebounder these playoffs. Don't mind him for total rebounds. And most points, Tatum at $3.60. I don't mind that either. But we'll have some more best bets later on this week. And I think that might be about it. That's all of them. That's all the best storylines that I'm looking forward to for the rest of this week. We'll have some other things to talk about later on. We'll do some yeah-nahs in the show later this week as well. And then, oh, there you go. There's the rest of the end of the show. So we'll do some yeah-nahs in the next show. We'll do some final best bets heading into Game 1. We'll do the Game 1 preview, all that sort of stuff for Friday morning. And then we'll go from there. Should be great. I can't bloody wait. This matchup is awesome. Dallas Boston. It's the Rajon Rondo, the Grant Williams series. I love it. I want to say the Dino Raja, but, you know, it's not quite it. Just fun. Just two really, really fun teams, two really fun cities, two really fun NBA franchises going at it for the finals. I'm stoked by it. So we'll be back with a show, I believe, on Wednesday. So midweek, basically, to set up your Friday morning. And then we'll do a Friday show as well, of course, to wrap up game one of the NBA finals. But if you've got any nars and gear like that, send them through. We'll read them out on Wednesday's show. If you've got any thoughts, vibes, there's actually a massive comment thread as well that I've got to dig into for a bunch of nars for that too on the old Facey, so I'll check that out. But either way, get around NBA Straya across all the socials. As I mentioned, we'll have a whole bunch of tips, picks, preview, fun, dumb shit on socials throughout the rest of the week as well. That'll be video gear. Should be pretty fun. So make sure you're following us on the old Facey, IG, Twitter, all that sort of shit, TikTok. Why not? And get around the Cricket Today podcast, the Football Today podcast, and of course, AFL Today. I did the production on that one last night. I just threw Gerald under the bus, remember? That was fun. It was a good show. Did a lot of talking. And then I had to do a lot of editing. Oh, jeez. Anyway, it was fun. Go check it out. Subscribe on your podcast app and all that sort of shit, right? So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, whatever app you're using, your weird Android phones. Chuck a rating, review, comment, whatever on your app, on your podcast app, all that sort of shit. And go watch all these shows because they're all on YouTube. The NBA Straya as well. So check it out or I'll fight you. Big thanks always go to From Oslo for the intro and outro song. Check out their new band House Hats as well as Joshua De Laurentiis, Fascinated, Goldmines, Ramshack Alami, Iowa, Sextrato, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear on NBA Straya. Smash them all on Triple J on Earth, Face Apple Music, Spotify, Bandcamp, all the good stuff. Remember, NBA Straya sports train bands, so should you. All right, and that's it. No skit today. We'll do one maybe on Wednesday. We'll see how we go. Might get Delhi's preview pick or something like that. It'll be fun. Trust me. All right, until the next show, which will be Wednesday. That's right. Look after yourselves, would you dickheads? This is NBA Straya saying, Later, Hosanna!